In today's video, we are going to talk about some super simple swaps that you can make today to turn your day from being overwhelming, stressful, heavy, to something that's light and joyful and feels more intentional. What I love about them is that they're really easy to do and you can pick the ones that work for you. So I don't actually know if I'm a morning person, but I do know that it's hard for me to get out of bed. And first thing in the morning, I typically love to hit that snooze button, not once, not twice, potentially 3 times, just to give myself an extra 10 minutes of sleep. So what I've been doing is swapping out snoozing for gratitude. I open my eyes, I look out my window, and I just say 3 things out loud that I'm super grateful for. The small act of gratitude activates the reward centers in our brains and boosts our emotions, our feelings, our happiness levels without us actually having to physically do anything. There's something about saying what you're grateful for out loud. It just helps me appreciate the day and actually look forward to it and looking for more gratitude in places. And I'm like ready then to get out of bed. Whereas 1 minute before that, I would have stayed in there the entire day. We've gotten out of bed. It's time to brush our teeth. We can do that mindlessly without thinking, more so like a zombie because we're still kind of trying to wake up. Or we can swap that out for giving ourselves a little bit of an affirmation boost. And the way we're gonna do that is through habit stacking. You put 2 habits together so that your brain starts to automatically think that one goes with the other, and it becomes something that you don't really have to think about the more you do it. Every morning when we brush our teeth, we're gonna then add an affirmation after that to give ourselves a little bit more of a lift in the morning. I love Mel Robbins and I've been following her $1 Million Morning, and she does a high five in the mirror every morning after she brushes her teeth. And I'm gonna tell you, I actually look forward to it. It felt super silly the first, 5 times I did it, but now I'm just like, yes girl, we're gonna do this. We're gonna slay this day. And it's one of my favorite parts of my morning, and it just helps me feel like you are ready for this day. It's time to get up now. This one is near and dear to my heart. It's super simple, but yet many of us still don't do it. And we're gonna swap out just pushing through the day with our work for taking short breaks. Research tells us that after about 1.5 hours to 2 hours of work, if we don't get a break, our productivity declines by 22%. That just means that it's making it harder for you to do your work. You're gonna do it slower. You could be more efficient. You need a break. When you are able to focus on what you actually need to be doing at work and get it out of the way, especially if it's something super important, you feel so much better about yourself and you just have a better day. We're gonna swap out maybe that boring long commute for some uplifting audio. This could be music that you love. You know what? If you love NPR, I'm not gonna judge you. Whatever makes you happy. I am personally loving Audible. I get to read all of these different books and I get to hear it in the author's voice. I feel like I'm filling myself up in some way. It's something just for me, and I can read about any topic that I want, and it just puts me in a good mood. And who wouldn't love that? The next thing we're gonna unplug from is working straight through lunch. I know I'm not the only one who has done this in the past, and I won't be the last, but we need to unplug fully. And instead of working straight through lunch, we're gonna take what's called a Schultz Hour. So George P. Schultz, he used to work for the Reagan administration, and he was the Secretary of State. And he started this thing where he would just take a 60-minute break in the middle of the day, get away from his desk, and do something else. He'd take a walk, have a conversation, or just reflect on his day. And then he would come back and feel so energized and ready to focus again. And he attributed all of his productivity and all he was able to get done to these Schultz hours. Now, productivity consultants consider this a best practice all over the world. So the next thing we're gonna swap out is flying by the seat of our pants during the week with no idea of what we're gonna do and when. We're gonna swap that out for a weekly plan. Now, listen, I know you're like, oh, another thing to do, but taking 15 to 30 minutes to not necessarily plan every single part of your day, at least not to start, but those major activities that you want to actually get done that will move the needle in the biggest way for you and help you feel like you're actually making progress. Those are the ones that we want to put on a calendar. We're reducing the amount of decisions that we have to make at the start of the week, which is just freeing up that cognitive load in our brains and allowing us to just breeze through the week a little bit more, knowing that we have assigned those things to a particular time in our schedule for the week. Whenever I put things on my schedule, it makes me feel so much more at peace. I feel more confident about my week. And now I can just focus on doing the things I need to do as opposed to figuring out every single day, what is it that I'm actually going to work on? So bedtime comes and you're exhausted, you've had a long day, and you just want the kids to go to bed. Instead of yelling at them to just go in their beds while you can start to relax, you're gonna go in that room and you're gonna pray with them. So there's a couple different reasons. I love doing this with my kids. We don't get to do it every single night, but on the nights that we get to do it, they're my favorite nights. And I feel like not only are they more calm, but I am also much more calm as well. I feel so much closer to them. I feel much closer to God. What I love about the kind of praying that we do is that we are thanking God for the things that He did that day. We are sharing about our day. We're looking for different areas where we're super thankful, and we're reflecting on what we want to do a little bit better the next day. I have my best days when I swap out avoiding people at all costs, which it can be very tempting. I work remotely, so sometimes I think it's best for me to just stay in my little bubble. But when I swap that out for connecting with people authentically, I never regret it. And for me, that can look like having a quick call with a friend, smiling and complimenting a stranger in the grocery store, or just leaving a voice note to someone that I really love, just to let them know that I'm thinking about them. Connecting with others, even briefly, releases oxytocin, which is the bonding hormone, and it pushes back against all of those negative thoughts and emotions that we feel, and it helps us to feel like we're part of a community, that we belong, and it just makes us feel like we have so much more purpose. It's quite magical what a little small talk can do for our mental health. This may feel a bit silly, but instead of doing one major cleaning chore, I like to break it up sometimes into smaller tasks depending on the energy and the time that I have. If you have some dishes in the sink and you just were able to grab a quick lunch, wash that one plate. It's gonna feel dumb, I'm telling you, but do it. You would not have added to the pile. And there's something about that that makes you feel better. And it takes 30 seconds and it's helping you to make sure that you're not adding more work to your future self. It's just a little bit of a mindset shift that, you know what, I'm just gonna do what I can right now. And when I have the time and the energy to get to the full load, I'll do it then. It's gonna keep you feeling light. It's gonna keep things feeling a bit more manageable, and you're not gonna be adding more to the mental and physical load that your future self is gonna have to handle. I hope that these super simple tips are things that you think that you can do starting tomorrow to just help you feel like you're a little bit lighter, you can enjoy more of your day, focus on the things that truly matter, and still make time for those less important tasks in a more manageable way. On this channel, we're all about taking micro steps to create massive joy, and if that's something that you're interested in doing in your own life, then I hope that you'll subscribe to the channel. Take care and see you next time.